High carb fueling. Is this the secret to running faster? I'm Mark, and in 2019, I ran 3:27 in the marathon, and I thought I'd cracked it. I thought I understood everything about the marathon. And then in May 2025, I ran a 2:55. So what changed? See, the thing is, I'm a really big running geek. I love doing the latest research. I love reading about what the elites are doing. I love learning about the latest trends and techniques to understand what makes them so damn fast. Because if it works for them, then can it work for me? High carb fueling is what I'm most interested in right now. And the more I read about it, the more I thought I need to try this. I wanted to know if I could get better at running just by consuming more carbs. It seemed too good to be true, but it also seemed like I had nothing to lose by trying it. I followed the research and I've applied it to my own training, and it can make amateur runners faster. But it's not as simple as just taking a few extra gels in a race. Let me take you through it. But I did forget my race shoes, so I'm not doing my workout in race shoes. I'm doing them in training shoes.
What's workout?
5 by a mile. So I'm doing a half marathon in a couple of weeks. So yeah, try and go slightly faster than half marathon pace. Oh, I spent like 15 minutes debating what carbon plate shoes to wear as well, and which ones I was gonna bring. And then I left them back in the office. Carbon plates or carbohydrates. You know, actually the research into both of them is quite interesting. Though maybe the performance benefits of carbon plates, maybe say 4%. The performance benefits of carbohydrates is potentially similar. So, you know, I don't know if it doubles and makes you 8% faster if you have both, but like they can have similar performance benefits. So why do carbs matter? If your car has got half a tank of petrol, it still goes fine. But if your body has half a tank of petrol, it starts to sort of worry a little bit that it's not gonna have enough energy to get through what it's doing. So taking on and topping up those carbs is just really important. High carb fueling is 75 grams or more of carbs per hour. And most of the time when we talk about marathon training, it's like 40 to 60 grams of carbs an hour. So it's a big jump up from that. Top 3 reasons why you need to high carb fuel. So you're gonna feel better during the runs because you're gonna have energy. You're gonna recover better because your body has the energy that it needs to help you recover. And you're gonna be able to race better. But this is the key thing. This is not just about racing. This is really before, during, and after all your training, before you're racing. That's what defines it as high carb. I definitely underfueled for a long time, just because you read the guidelines, maybe you want 1 gel an hour or you take 50, 60 grams of carbs an hour. And you think, okay, well, I need that in my marathon, but I don't need to do that in training. So I'll just have a banana before I go and then go and do a 2-hour run. But then you wonder why at the end of it, you're really struggling and your form's really bad and you just don't have the energy to do it. So, and at the time you don't think about it because I didn't know there was another option. Like I didn't know that, I didn't have this idea in my head that actually if I just had more carbs during the run, I would feel better. Carb loading is what you do on race day. It's not what you do in training. That was like this whole mentality. Obviously it's completely different now and I'm fueling all the time. And I think the advice generally is if you're doing a long run, you need to eat your carbs before, in the night before as well, just to maximize what you're getting. But yeah, but this is much more recent advice. This is not even 5 or 10 years ago. This wasn't standard advice. I've actually got a very specific underfueling story, which is relevant to where we are right now. So I used to live about 200 meters that way. And during lockdown, I decided to run a marathon around this park. And the inside of the park is basically 1 mile. So I thought I would do 26 laps. So I stashed a whole bag of carbs in this bush. And after about 5 or 6 laps, I went back to the bush to get gels and get a drink, and it wasn't there. So someone had taken it, someone had thrown it away, someone had just taken my bag of gels. So I didn't really know what to do. I thought I could run home, but I just carried on running and running. And by the end of that, by about 20 miles, I hit the wall so hard. It was awful. I basically dragged my feet to the end. I was running really consistently the same pace, and then it just went downhill. But yeah, but directly from here, every time I walk past this bit, I think about that bag of gels that got lost. I just wanted to know how it would feel. Like if I actually took more carbs, like would it actually feel better for me? And it does, like it really does. I can train better, but then I can also race better. So in 2025, I've done marathon PB and a 50K PB. The Sydney Marathon, which we filmed, it was a 6-minute negative split. The key thing is, at the end of all of those races, I'm finishing feeling really good. I'm finishing strong. The final 5K of my marathon PB was the fastest 5K of the entire race. So this is backed by science. There's so much research into this and how this is actually working. Like, it's low risk for potentially higher reward. It's going to improve your training. I think that's fundamentally important, just by making sure you're having more carbs. That's going to improve that. Right, so today's workout is 5 by a mile. It's not a race day simulation. I'm trying to run fast, but I'm not trying to run fasted. I need carbs to help me get through this workout and to make sure that I'm still feeling good tomorrow, because I've got another big run then. So that's why I wanted to do high carb fueling, and this is how I did it. My gels are in the front. My drink mix is in the back. I really enjoy my coordination today, like my colour coordination. A lot of people say I look good in pink. I started adding carbs to all of my runs. On the easy runs, I realised actually I don't necessarily need it unless I'm a little bit depleted anywhere or I've got some big training coming up. The longer the run, or the more intense the run, the more carbs I'll take. So I'm scaling towards that. And 100%, it was those long, hard efforts where I felt the most benefit. That's where I want the most energy during the run, and where I want to make sure that I'm still maintaining that energy all the way through to the end. It's definitely going to be in those longer, harder runs when you want to try this out. I definitely have had runs where my stomach has not settled right. Normally it's going to be like nausea, so you're just going to feel a bit sick and you're probably not going to want to take more. It's quite intense on the stomach, so you just need to make sure that you're also having water alongside it. The times when I'm going to struggle more with higher carb fueling is when I'm dehydrated. So if it's a really hot day, or if I just haven't hydrated enough before the run, that's when I'm going to have the worst, maybe stomach issues. I just buy these soft flasks and I make the mix up. I actually make the drink mix myself a lot of the time because it can be really expensive. It's very easy to say, oh look, I'm trying to take 100 grams of carbs an hour, but 100 grams of carbs in gels might be £6 or £7 worth of gels. So it becomes actually pretty expensive. If you want to know more about my homemade energy drink mix, let us know in the comments and maybe we'll put that together in a new video. Let's go. This is the goal, to finish the half marathon at this pace. I know I can comfortably run it, but can I comfortably run it after 18K? 5:59. That was a bit quicker than planned, but I think a combination of caffeine and carbs kicked in. The effort level felt right, so I'll just take that as I'm feeling good today, so I'll go with it, but I won't push hard. I won't be stubbornly trying to stay there. That's it. Woo! That's the third rep done. That was good. So making sure I'm getting carbs in between, because the pace that I'm going there, it's like 5K, 10K pace, and that's too fast for me to take on any fuel in it. Anything faster than half marathon pace, just can't do it. So fueling in runs, I'm only really doing that, like fueling while I'm actually running. I'm doing that when I'm at half marathon pace, and a bit slower. Any faster than that, it's just too quick, my heart rate is too high. So the reason I'm taking carbs between the reps is because I want my body to know that there's energy coming. So I don't want it to think, okay, I don't know what's coming next. I don't know if I'm gonna run out of fuel for this workout. So by topping it up in the middle of the reps, my body knows, okay, I've got some energy, I'm gonna use it. It was a bit quicker than I expected, but it felt really good. That's why it's so important to come into this with the right amount of energy, because it's all about energy availability. If the energy is not there, there's nothing to use. So it just makes it so much harder. Oh, that was good. Yeah. Carbs are so good. I definitely felt the difference that carbs made in that session. And to me, they matter in every session that I do. But it's really easy for me to tell you my experience of it. But I really want to get more into the science of this. So right now we're going to go and meet Dr. Jamie Pugh and get really deep into the details.
Jamie, tell us a bit about what you do.
I'm an applied physiologist and nutritionist working with elite endurance runners for the past 10 plus years, all the way from recreational runners through to elite international athletes. And I'm also one of the co-founders of a new company looking at carbohydrate oxidation in endurance athletes.
What's your favourite carbohydrate?
All of the carbohydrates. Yeah. All of the carbohydrates.
What is high carb fueling?
That's I feel like the answer now is different to what it would have been in 5 years ago, and then I wonder if it's going to be different in 5 years' time. I think high carb fueling is just during exercise, how high an amount you can tolerate and how high an amount you can use as well. Mm-hmm. And those are maybe two different things. Maybe we can go on it a little bit. We think of high carb fueling, but it's probably just normal carb fueling. It's just matching your requirements.
So what are some of the misconceptions of, I think, fueling in general?
The idea that carb loading is just one massive bowl of pasta the night before your race, when the reality is you could probably spread that out. You can get it in different formats. You can get it from drinks. The volume of food doesn't have to be big. You can still get a good amount of carbohydrates in without having to like just feel full and bloated all day and feel heavy on the start line. The same with carbohydrates during exercise. I think there's this misconception that a gel might be the thing that sends me to the Portaloo during the race, where again, in reality, there's a whole host of factors that contribute to digestive symptoms during exercise. And I think a lot of people inappropriately, or they get it wrong, thinking, oh no, it was this gel, rather than maybe it was how I did my carb load, maybe it's the intensity of exercise that I'm just pushing too hard during the race, or I'm dehydrated. So that's another issue that people just think, well, I hedge my bets. I won't take the gel or I won't take the drink because then I'm not going to end up in the Portaloo.
So if we're talking about having 80, 90, 100 grams or more of carbs an hour, if someone just went out and just did that for the first time and all they've done before was one gel, it's going to be a lot of volume. So how adaptable is the stomach for this?
It's completely adaptable. You've only got to look at like competitive eaters to work out that the stomach and our intestines, or small intestines, which is where the carbs are absorbed from, they're like almost any other organ in the body, in that they can change, they can adapt if you give them the right stimulus. I hope this isn't too much like GCSE biology, but if you remember, in our small intestine, it's like this tube that has all of these cells that absorb nutrients. We can almost train that to make sure that, okay, you're really good at absorbing glucose, or you're really good at absorbing protein. If you feed lots of carbohydrates, you get really good at absorbing carbohydrates. If you restrict, so you go on a low carbohydrate diet, or you don't quite get that same amount, we've seen in lots and lots of studies, and we see it in practice, that when you then come to use your gels or your drinks during exercise, your body just isn't as adapted for it.
So that's another reason why it's important to maintain a steady level of carbs throughout all of your training.
Throughout all of your training, yeah. So not just in the training sessions, but in just your day-to-day eating as well.
Yeah.
And I think this is the bit that gets overlooked a lot of the time. Not that you have to eat like a competitive eater every day, but by maintaining a good amount of carbohydrates day to day in your normal meals and in some of your training sessions, you're constantly giving your digestive system that stimulus to be good at removing carbohydrates and then getting them to the muscles where they need to be used.
Are all carbs equal when it comes to before and after?
That's a really tough question, really interesting one. No, they're not all created equal. There'll be different reasons why we want different foods. So you might take foods that are maybe whole grain type foods, or foods that are slower to digest. They have a whole host of other health benefits. When we're thinking of carbohydrates as fuel, we're often thinking of the ones that are rapidly digested and absorbed as glucose, for example. So they might be the ones that are high glycemic index. They're the ones that will preferentially go to muscle after we've exercised. So anything up to 60 minutes, you probably don't need to take anything on during the exercise. You could be sipping on a carbohydrate drink throughout, but it's probably not needed. As you move up and you go beyond 60 minutes, maybe something like 60 minutes to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, the traditional guidelines have been somewhere between 60 and 90 grams an hour. And then over 2.5 hours, or maybe over 2 hours, 90 grams is the general recommendation. But like you said, you've got to put intensity into that as well, because if you're doing a easy Sunday long run in the middle of winter, you're not really training for anything, you're out for 2 hours, again, you could probably get away with or take on a little bit less because the intensity is going to be lower. It's unbelievable the amount of athletes that we either get in studies in the laboratory or we work with for the first time. You give them the right amount of carbs and it's almost as if you've just given like the secret. All of a sudden their recovery is better, their sessions are better, they don't feel as tired. And it maybe sometimes it just comes back to that knowledge piece as well, because there's this fear or feeling that, to do that I have to smash pasta or white bread, or because our food options are limited. So often what we're doing is just opening up the choices for athletes to have, to show them, no, this could be a sports drink, this could be an evening bag of Haribo's, this could be a multitude of different foods that you could fit in. And again, those aren't huge volumes of food. This is something that's not going to make you really full or really bloated or feel like eating is a chore. You can just add these in throughout the day.
So are carbs going to make you a faster runner? Yeah, they are. But high carb fueling is not just taking loads of gels during a race. High carb fueling is more of a mentality about just being aware of the amount of carbs that your body needs to support your training and your racing. That means carbs before, it means carbs during, and it means carbs after, to help that recovery, which then helps you come back stronger for your next session. So 4 key lessons. 1, carbs are important. We need them. They're great. 2, you can train your body to take more carbs. More carbs mean more energy. That's important. 3, every day matters. And we're scaling this. A short, easy run doesn't need that many carbs. A long, hard run needs loads of carbs. Find where you sit in the middle. Specifically, when we're talking high carb fueling, we're talking race intensity for longer efforts, like half marathon, marathon, ultra marathon. And 4, this isn't just race day. Yeah, obviously you're doing it on race day, but it's about all of your training, using carbs before, during, and after key runs. So the final number 1 lesson, don't be scared of carbs. They're delicious and they're really important. If there's anything else, any other big topics that you want us to take on, then let us know in the comments and we'll get working on them. And check out this video where Tom is training for his ultra marathon. I actually, for this one, told him the gels that I like and he bought those gels and he likes those gels and you can see them in practice.